Hi! You must have got a notification. Look, I figured out how to make the chat appear on the screen. So that's pretty cool. I haven't taken off my nails yet, but we're going to. Here's what I've got. They're pretty cool. These are actually from a upcoming video I record in advance, but I like to change my nails a lot. So I'm gonna take these off and we're gonna do nail stamping. You did? Thank you. I try to find fun stuff to do on lives because it's not always entertaining to watch me just sit here and not talk. So I don't know. I figured a getting ready with me at the very least could be fun to look at, because who doesn't like pretty things? And I also figured that taking off my nails and changing them, since I'm going to do it anyway, might as well hang out. So I am going to take these off. I put peel off base coat on under here so that I can just flick that off. And this way I can change my nails as frequently as I want. And it's that easy. Sometimes I get a little bit of extra paint around the edge, which I can scrape off. Or I'll use a buffing block and scrape it off that way too. And then I just put on a new peel off base coat. I did have a good evening out. What did I do? Oh yes, I went and I played the board games. So what we ended up actually playing was New Phone Who Dis. It's a BuzzFeed game, kind of like Cards Against Humanity. There's a prompt and you have cards to reply, and then the funniest one's the winner or whatever. Sometimes I'm able to get these off without destroying them. And peel off base coat stays on nail extensions pretty well. Way better than on like natural nails. I almost never have them fall off by accident, but I also change my nails a lot. Now, if I do end up leaving a set on for a period of time, which it happens, sometimes I really like them. Typically not more than a week though. Occasionally I'll lose one and I'll just find it. I'll just look down and there will just be a naked finger and I'm like, where'd that go? I can't hold on to things. Give a little buffy buff. Get these little paint bits off of here that didn't come off, and any leftover peel off base coat so that we can start a fresh new layer. Thank you. It's this little camouflage top. I got it on Temu, and I actually got it because I have these camo shoes that I had nothing to wear it with, and I was like, I need some sort of article. So I went on a hunt and I found this one, and it's worked very well, so I always wear them together. I had the shoes on earlier, but I took them off, of course, now that I'm at home. Yeah. Wow. I'm glad you asked, because I have been dying to do these. So I got these two stamping plates recently from Maniology. This one is called Love Potion. You can see why. And then this one, I don't remember what it's called, but it's basically a fairy tale theme. So I'm going to use the both of them. I feel like they kind of go together. We're going to make fairy tale nails. I think they're going to be so cute. Yes. And I'm going to use this Orly because it's like this white, but it's got a gold shimmer in it for the pages. Because I'm like, I feel like a fairy tale would have pages that glow gold. That seems right to me. It's gonna be so pretty. We are ready to reapply our peel off. This is the one that I am using. It's from ENail Couture. It's like $6, which is a fantastic price, because this one from Orly I think is $13. So I think peel off base coat is water based. I think that's why it peels. but because of that, it definitely takes a little bit longer to dry. But this one's the fastest drying of the ones that I've even used, so it's not terrible. And I like to do 2 coats. I feel like that makes it easier for it to actually peel. And it is air dry. I've tried some gel peel off base coats, but I've never been able to figure out how to make them peel. So I don't know why they exist. Someone told me one time that you have to soak them in water, but the instructions don't say that. And the amount of time they suggested that you soak them is basically just soaking your hand in water with nothing. And I'm like, I think it's because your nail bed is swelling up and making your stuff peel loose. I don't think it's the base coat. I like to wipe underneath my edges just so it's not thick out of habit. Yeah, so I'll wave this around for a moment. And so like it's shiny right now, but when it dries, you'll see that shine will disappear, and so that's how you know. The second layer takes a little bit longer. I think it's because the first layer is there. I also discovered the other day that peel-off base coats are not compatible with other peel-off base coats. So that is interesting. I tried to put a Maniology black peel-off base coat on top of this one, and it just made it separate. And I was like, huh. You learn something new all the time. It's getting there. You can see some of the spots on the ends in particular are getting dry. I spend all my time on YouTube watching nail videos. Nail videos is the way to go. I remember when I discovered nail videos, it changed my life. Back then it was like, I guess when COVID had kind of first started, and I was just doing my regular natural nails, which for natural nails, I can grow relatively long ones. They'd be like here-ish, but they're like, they would be curved and not good in shape. And I had discovered nail stamping because I got a kit at Walmart, but I was real bad at it. And I certainly didn't know that you could do things like reverse stamping, and so it was basic. Then I discovered nail tube, and I just fell down a rabbit hole. And so now I do all kinds of stuff. I am certainly not in the realm of your regular nail lady. I couldn't imagine just painting my nails one color and then that's just what we do. I'm like, whoa, nope, it's gonna be complicated and I'm gonna change it all the time. I'm not here for longevity. But you see, it's kind of matte looking now, but like satin matte. So we'll put us another coat. I'm not left-handed, so if it looks weird and uncomfortable the way that I'm holding things, it's because I'm not left-handed. But I find stabilizing it as best as possible really helps. I like to sit my hand down. Now we gotta wait for that coat to dry. And while we're at it, let me show you what I got over here. So these are fairies. I'm obsessed. And then this nail shape, this is Edge. It's one of my favorite nail shapes, but it is not for everyone. And they are sharp. And the tips, they start out like this long, but I chopped that down because this is the furthest that I can function, and my typing is real bad even at this length. After this gets dry, I go in with this Sally Hansen Dries Instantly because it's like $3 a bottle, and so I'm not worried about contaminating it, and it dries really quickly. And so I'll put that on to seal all of this in. And then I like to use Seche Vivre, but really you can use whatever top coat you like, but I like this one because it's super thick on top of that. So then with those two top coats, it makes like a hard shell on top of your peel off. And then I do my nail art on top of that. And so that's why most of the time they come off in one piece. Now, hypothetically, you can do like gel and stuff on top of it. You just have to wait longer for your base structure to dry because you wouldn't want to do it while it's still wet inside. But generally, if you give it a couple of hours, you'll be alright. Almost dry enough to put this next one on. I don't know if you're in any of the nail groups that I've posted about this in, but I used some thread and a needle and made this cross on my stamper so that I can line up my stamps. It helps because I am real bad at getting them on there crooked or too far to one side. So that has helped. I haven't done it to these yet. I need to. I know. I went through several iterations of ideas. First I painted on the back and it peeled off. And then I got this paint pen. It's, I don't remember what kind of paint. Oil paint. And that stayed on a little longer, but it peeled off. And then I got these like clear Post-its that have grids on them. They're for doing math. And that's cool, but they were kind of foggy, so it made it hard to see through. So it wasn't my favorite, even though it had way more grid. So if I had the patience to replicate it with the thread, I think that would be the best, because so far the thread is the best. I was afraid at first that it would destroy my stamper, but it didn't. And it's the least obstructive to look through. So I think it's the winning method. Painting the thumb is always the hardest because you gotta hold your hand in such a weird way. There we go. Now that will dry much faster than that last coat. Actually, while we're doing this, we might as well theorize. So I feel like on the thumb, I want to utilize this one. Yes, I do actually. So my original favorite nail YouTuber is Emily Susanna, but she hardly ever makes videos anymore, which is unfortunate. So I also like C's tutorials, but she's also been making less videos, which is unfortunate. I think I watch Nailed by Brandy the most, and she's actually recently started doing face cam in her videos, which I think definitely adds value to it. I think face cam is always more enjoyable because you get more of a complete understanding of what's going on. Like you can't see facial expressions with just hands. So I think that's improved them. I also watch Nails by Key. She does really long ones typically. Of course, you know, nail career education, that's where you get all the good stuff. And then I do also like swatchers like Kelly Marissa, and then Mediocre Manny's. I like them both pretty well. And then recently I have been started watching this girl. She's a young girl. What is her name? Anne Elizabeth, something like that. And then I dabble with a ton of other ones, just here and there, whenever they come up. But like, my feed is just nails. And so I'm just watching all kinds of stuff. Yeah, highly recommend. Most nail YouTubers do gel, sometimes acrylic. Very few actually do nail polish unless it's just swatching. And then there's me. Yes, you know who Brandy is then. And Anne Elizabeth, that's her name. I don't know the Devil Wears Press-Ons. Hi, Mama L. Welcome, thanks for coming. I'll have to check out the Devil Wears Press-Ons. Yeah, I think we might do this on here, but then I also kind of want the crown incorporated somehow. I was thinking about maybe like hanging it off the edge, but this nail is so long, I can just put them on there side by side, possibly. We'll have to look at it. I also want to use this frame and put these two folks inside of it. I hypothetically want to use the books, but I'm not married to it yet. I definitely want to use this page, They Lived Happily Ever After, probably on the pinky because I think that's the only one that it's going to fit. And then I might want to incorporate one of these bits, but I want to look at this one. I haven't taken the blue off yet. So we have a lot of poison looking stuff, but also this is pretty cool. The problem with these full cover ones is typically they're not long enough to cover these nails, but that's real pretty. Might use that actually. You could hypothetically also just like use a couple of the spell bottles, just like on one of them, and like beep, and then maybe kind of partially. I couldn't fit them all the way on there, but I could like put them partially on there. That's an idea. I think that's gonna be the plan. We're gonna have a lot of stamping to do and reverse stamping. Yeah, these are dry, so we can start touching stuff. Also, let me show you another little fun hack I got going here. So these are transparent Post-its, and I like to use them for my paint palette. So I just stick it to my desk and I put my paint on it and then I peel it up and throw it away when I'm done. That's handy. We need a black stamping polish and a scraper. Got a selection of stampers out, and I may end up having to get more out, but we'll cross that bridge in a minute. I've got a whole bucket of them in this drawer. Let's see. We want to pick up the ones that are going to need to be colored in first. The frame I am going to color in. I'm going to make it silver. And I actually can do it on a square stamper because it's not very big. Ha! This stamper still has hearts on it from when I did them the other day. You can do that. You can make them ahead of time and just put the lid on and they're safe in there. Definitely gonna have to color in some bits on that one, so we'll get that one picked up. I'm gonna need to pick up 3 spell bottles. Also, I typically find that if you acetone your plates before you get to using them, they work better. Like when you first peel the paper off, sometimes they'll pick up, but sometimes they're feisty. I was gonna say, look at how dirty that is, but this was already dirty. So it's not reliable. I'm gonna zoom this in. Hi, Maria. Thanks for coming. We're doing nail stamping on these Longo bad boys. We're gonna pick some up right now so we can paint them. Sometimes I have to try this a bunch of times. And I do it onto a paper towel so I can wipe my stamper off. Let's see. Okay, we did pretty good. And then I use a lint roller, but you can use tape or whatever you like best. Long ago in a distant kingdom. I'll save those for those two. I need the sky. Okay. So on some of these etchings, you kind of want to like smush it on there when you're putting the paint on, because if you only go one direction, there will be a gap in the ledge of the direction that you put it. And so when you pick it up, sometimes there's like bubbles of nothing, and then roll it back the other way. That looks like a pretty good pickup too. Maybe y'all can see it. There you go. Yeah, it's pretty decent. Very fine lines. The finer the lines, the harder it often is to pick up. So I'll put that in the pile that needs to be painted. And then let's clean these off. All right, now we need to get our potions. Ugh, we've got another one with hearts on it. Nail stamping is hard. There is a huge learning curve, and sometimes you have to try a bunch of times. Some days I will sit here and pick up the same stamp 5 or 6 times because it's just not acceptable. But it's like sometimes you gotta try to change the angle you're scraping. Sometimes you gotta change the angle you're rolling your stamper. Sometimes you've gotta be faster. Sometimes you've gotta scrub the paint in. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you've gotta scrape a little bit lighter, especially if there's like big gaps, because if you push down too hard, it dips your paint out. Like, huge learning curve and a lot of trial and error. But if you can get the hang of it, it just really opens up the world of nail art, because there are stamps for everything. I have multiple 3-ring binders with pocket pages full of stamps. This one's got some thread in it. Let's see here. Let's take this one. It's pretty good. Good, good, good. Yeah, that's a good pickup too. Well, they don't have to remain unused. I do nail stamping in a lot of my videos, so hopefully just as you view them, you'll start to be like, oh, there's something that I can try, because that's how I learn things. That's how I've learned everything nails. It's kind of cool looking. It fell out and landed like this, thankfully. I cannot tell you how many times I've dropped a nail stamper and it landed face down, which means my stamp was now stuck to whatever it landed on. I hate when that happens. This one. The Art Deco one. I didn't get that one because I have other stamping plates that are relatively similar. And it's not really a style that I end up using very often, so I can't see a reason why I would need multiple plates. For me, it's the spooky stuff. I've got probably a million Halloween or like witchy plates because they're all just so pretty. Got a lot of holiday theme ones too. We need the crown. And the long ago in a distant kingdom. Get those. Nope, I just knocked over my polish. Luckily the lid was on. That one came up pretty good too. I was a little concerned about that. Alright, crown. Okay, yeah. I think we're having a good stamping day. Probably because I scrubbed the plates before. This is one of the ones, you see how it's like a big area? You have to scrape lighter, otherwise it's going to scrape the paint out of it. Just do like a light little run across, roll it across gently, and you can get it. I think pushing too hard is usually where people run into the most issues, because like you can see there's even paint left in that because I push so lightly. But if you push too much, it pushes it out. So we need to start painting these things. I need to get them scooted over because they're on top of my sticker palette. And then I use this tiny little brush for painting, but mine's starting to get frayed. And once it does, it doesn't give you as a precise of a point, so it's on its way to being replaced. On here we have some flowers and some leaves and some swans, so I need to paint all of those things in. I like to use stamping polish for the painting too, but sometimes I use regular. And I've got this green and this red here readily available, so I'm gonna do what I can with that. I'm gonna use this silver for the frame, and then if I need to get some different colors, which I probably will, I can, because there's a wall back there if y'all You see all that polish back there? Let's start with the flowers with the red. Because I think that's what there's going to be the fewest of. So just put a little droplet and then roll my brush in it just a little bit. I have to add some more acetone to my bucket. And then just get a little bit on there. Now I have to hold this in a way that I can see through it. And let me actually put this so that it's white. Pardon me. And then I kind of just try and dot it as best as I can. If I'm doing a bigger area, then I do like a floating swipe. But you have to be super, super delicate doing this because you'll peel up your lines if they stick to your brush. And don't expect perfection, because sometimes you're going to color outside of the line, because this is hard. There's this moon on here, which means I'll have to go get a yellow. I think these at the bottom might be lily pads, so I can make them green. But they need to be a lighter shade of green, really. I'll have to get one. I need to put some acetone in here. I'm trying to dip into an empty bucket. Look what I did. There's nothing in there. There we go. And then I keep a paper towel on the side where I wipe it off. All right, I'm gonna set this to the side and we're gonna get anything else that has red on it that needs to be painted since we have the red out. You have to clean your brush every once in a while because the paint dries and so it'll start to get thick. I also want to paint this heart red. It's a human heart, not love heart. Okay. And this one's got poison in it. I don't know what color I want the liquid to be, but I'm probably going to get like some sort of light pastel-y shade. And for the smoke, I'll figure that out. Let me see about this one. What do we got over here? This one's got stars and stuff on it. Actually think anything else has to be red. Wow, these little swirls. I wonder if I can get them. They're so tiny. Let's try it. Let's get barely. Ugh, I did a bad job already. Some of them I'm doing okay. That first one, I just got it everywhere, but there's nothing I can do about it. You really do have to just barely touch it, or like pluck one of your brushes down to one hair. I think that's okay. Let's color this bookmark in too. Yeah, I think that looks good. All right, let's come back to this and get us the green. What kind of theme do you think they're gonna go for the February Mani by Me box? Like, it would be too late to give us Valentine's stuff. So it's gotta be like spring related, right? That's kind of what I think. I wonder what it's gonna be. I was on their subscription, but I turned that off because I didn't like all of them. And I also didn't like skipping them because then I felt weird about getting it off schedule. So I'm really glad that they made it to where you can just order them when you want them. And so that's kind of where I'm at. I buy a lot of Maniology stuff individually, so I don't really need the boxes, and I've got so much. But if they ever decide to just send them to me, I will resume the playlist. I've got one already on there. It's like 6 or 7 boxes. I'm doing this before I paint the nails, because if I tried to do this with wet nails, I would probably ruin them. I waste a lot of nail polish doing this, to be fair, because it does dry, but I only put 1 drop out at a time. I think I'm going to try and do the trim of this page in the silver as well to match it to the frame. I'm just concentrating, don't worry about me. I have to get the lighter green for those lily pads. All right, what colors do I need to collect? I need to get a few pastels, light green, and I need a gold for the crown. Okay, yeah, I'm about to see how I get to the nail polish. I have a step ladder. This is how I collect polishes. When you got short legs, you gotta get crafty sometimes. I think I better do the doves actually in this off-white. Doves. Swans. Because I think that regular white stamping polish is gonna be too close to the pages color. One of the fun things about nail stamping is how impressive other people think your artwork is. Like, I just tell people I painted that, and then they're like, oh wow, that's so cool. I'm like, I know, right? Little do they know. Exactly. It's all about how you tell the story, because it's not a lie. I did paint that. The fact that it was with tools does not matter. That's not part of the story. Oh no, I've painted too much on those, but that's alright, I guess. And then we turn it over and look at it from the top to make sure everything looks like it should. I think it does. I feel like I should paint in the T. I'll use the gold. It is my art. And everyone who does it, even if they use the same stamp, would do it differently. There we go. Oh, the moon. I guess I'll make it gold because I forgot to grab the yellow. And gold is just metallic yellow. Okay, and then since I'm doing gold, might as well get this crown done. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. I was gonna make the frame silver, but now should I do it in gold since I'm doing gold for everything else? Get back over here. You think the gold? You think we should scrap the silver? Make it all match? You're probably right. I do hate gold and silver being mixed together. It's just when I think about like old books. I always picture the edges of the pages being silver. We'll do the gold then. Okay, yeah, that's looking good. Alright, let's set that one over there. Let's get this one painted in. Yes, that looks nice. Now, this one, we have a bit of a dilemma because hypothetically, what I would like is for the background of this frame to be colored in and then the people inside of it. But what color should we paint it in? Because I can put the people on after, but I want them to be like contrasty. Should I color the back of this with the silver? Should we color the back of the frame silver, or should we color it one of these foggies? Because I'm going to use this one for the liquid in the potions and this one for the smoke. They're both like a sheer white, but this one's got like a blue shimmer and this one's got a green shimmer. So should it be a magic aura or silver like a mirror, but it's not reflective? What's the right decision? The blue shimmer one. I like it. Very ethereal. Let's do it. This paint actually works really well for ghosts as well. So like if you have a dark background and you use it, then they don't show up super well. But when you turn it in the light and it makes the shimmer show, then suddenly there's ghosts there. It's pretty cool. I did a nail set some time back where I used thermochromatic liquids and then I put ghosts on top of it. It was very fancy. I need to do something like that again. Yes, magical. So let's have a look at it from this side. Yeah, you can see that shimmer. It's nice. It was a good choice. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and put the smoke on these. There's a star on here that I need to put some gold on. Yeah, it does take a lot of patience, but also it's something that you can kind of do in spurts. Like, you don't have to just do it all at once. So if you want to, you know, sit down, paint a little while, go do some other stuff, come back, paint a little bit more, like, you absolutely can, because they'll be fine. You got to put it on a sticky base coat anyway, because they're going to be too dry to stick straight to the nail. So that is a thing that you can do. Make the accents on these bottles gold. I, fortunately, just really enjoy doing this. We need to put the potion liquid in. Green. Essence of bad omens. Fortunes untold. Mysteries. Is it love or is it manipulation? I'm stupid. I got jokes sometimes. Okay, now we're almost done with the painting. My question here is, do we just paint these pages off-white and then stick it on top of this, you know, pearly white background that we're going to use? Or do we paint them a white? That would make sense. The off-white's probably going to be the best. But either way, I guess the real question is, do we put it on top of a different color background? I'll paint it the off-white. But I don't really want to make all of the backgrounds white. I mean, the pearly white is pretty, but I feel like we have space somewhere to do something else to go along with it. Like, what if we made the background of this nail gold? Like, that's a thing that we could do. Or we have this, well, we wouldn't use it on this one because it's already covered. That bright red, we could put something on top of the gold. I think that'd be pretty cool. This mirror and its people is gonna go on my index finger. We can't do gold for the background. Ideally, I don't think we should do white either, just because the inside of it is this shimmery white and I feel like it'll be too similar. So that would be a reasonable candidate. I brought these other pastel colors over here that I didn't end up using. Or, like, there's always the hypothetical situation where I could just do a black nail. Should we put this on top of a red or a black or what? Hi, Amy. Thanks for coming. We're doing nails. Nail stamping. We just got done painting a whole bunch of stamps. Okay, so we'll have a red background here, a gold background here, and then the ones that we're putting the potions on top of, they're going to be a bit see-through, so it's probably best if we keep those white. Well, I use that liquid. Maybe I'll make that one the black one. That way that liquid iridescence is real reflecty. So gold, red, and then black, and this one will be white too. Now this is the red that I've worked with, but it's not super red. I think we should get like a red, right? Let me grab us a red. That'll be a good red. We got so much stuff out. It's time to do some actual painting on the nails. Oh, you guys. Camera battery died. I've got to change it. Just 1 second. Yes. You would think, because it is on the cord, like it's on the charger cord all the time, that it would just stay charged, but it doesn't. Whenever it's on, it drains the battery, and then when I turn it off, it'll charge. And my mouse is actually the same way, which is weird. I guess we can do our second layer of white since we was off on adventures just now. This is finger paints. It comes from Sally's, the hair store. It's like $5 a bottle. That's where I get most of my blacks and whites, just because I go through so much of them. And these are good quality, so it just doesn't make sense to pay a whole lot of money for blacks and whites that I use mostly for backgrounds and art. I can pay more money for fancy polishes. Hopefully, though, one day I'll learn to paint in the lines. And typically, these finger paints don't need a second coat. It's a 1 coat black if you put it on thick. We're gonna have to work fast with this because this gold is a stamping polish and they dry faster than regular nail polishes. I mean, it is a regular nail polish, but like stamping polish's formula is a quick drying polish. That looks good. That looks good too. All right, those are gonna need a minute to dry, and then we'll do a second coat. Thank you. I think we did pick a good red. Nice red. Yeah, I don't think I can see through that black, so I don't think we need to do another coat. But the red and the gold, I am gonna do another coat. Here's the problem with long nails. Sometimes you bang them into each other. If you lick your finger, your paint won't stick to it as you push that gouge back down. I am gonna have to put another coat though, because while it smushed it back down, it didn't close it. That's annoying. I think I run into my biggest nail damages caused by my other nails. It's like by the time you get done painting across, the other side is dry, so you gotta get more. I think they all look nice and opaque. Pinky's still good. Alright. We gotta let this dry. And then once they are, we will sèche vive. I like to say it like that because it's so dramatic. Thank you. Once we get them top coated in, that'll only take a few minutes to dry, and then we'll be ready for the nail stamping. This is the sticky base coat that I use. I got it on Amazon. You get a giant bottle. It might be $7 or something. You can use the one from Maniology. You can use Orly Bonder, which is also a sticky base coat. But there's just so much of this, so I like to use it for nail stamping. Let's see if these are getting dry enough. Yeah, I think I can top coat on that one. That one too. That one might be okay. That one's a little tacky, which means this one probably is too. A little bit. Start on it, maybe it'll be ready to go by the time we get to it. Painted on my finger a little bit, but I do that a lot here, just because I have to hold it so funny. That's good. Let's give that a few minutes. This is legitimately how I spend most of my free time. When anybody asks what I'm doing, usually the answer is painting my nails. And painting all these little stamps in is really the longest part of the process. Once we get to applying them, that part will go relatively quickly. And then we'll have to top coat them, of course, but that's the end of the road. I think these are gonna come out really, really cute. This guy's trying to get like wrinkly because I put such a thick layer of top coat on it, and so when I'm moving it around in the air, it's making it cold. And so it was shriveling up, but it's smoothing out. Sometimes if you just on it, it warms it up enough for it to release its wrinkles. Yeah, they've smoothed out now. Now, this page from the book, there's a good chance that these edges are not going to be a part of it because I think they're going to actually hang off. But that'll be okay. Still going to be pretty. They lived happily ever after. Did they? That what they want you to think. Now, I'm going to take this little lid and I'm gonna use it like this. So the sticky base coat takes about 30 seconds. You don't want it to get so dry that it loses its sticky, but it has to be dry enough that your stamp isn't sliding around. I'll give it about that long and then we'll put that one on. We're gonna be working at a higher level, so so I like to just touch it gently on the side to check it, and it is tacky. Let me put this here. Get that guy out the way. I'm gonna look down the barrel of this. Try really, really, really hard to get it straight. And roll to the side. And then roll that one to the side. Excuse me. Get over there where you belong. So we got a little overhang, which is fine. This top is on some Bugatti though. Straighten out. I just take this and break off where it's too much. If you don't get that sticky base coat far enough around the edges, ain't nothing sticky up there. Right, so I'm gonna squeeze these edges on here a little bit, and then of course when we seal everything in, that'll take care of those loose bits. But that's what that one looks like. I think overall it looks pretty good. What do you think? Got some leftovers on here. That's what our lint roller is for. This guy next. This is where we were gonna put our potions. Those are definitely gonna have some hanging off bits. Jabbed the side of this right there with my thumb. This one's still too wet because I had to add extra. It's okay. I'll cover it up with a stamp. Fantastic. That's much worse. I've made a big old gouge. Now I gotta try and smush that back. I'm causing myself all kinds of problems. Gotta try and cover all this up with stamps. Ain't but 3. This one here. I see the issue. So the outline is black and I forgot. We should have used like a gray or something because the black outline blends in with the black paint. The right thing to do would be to peel it off and do it again and remake that stamp that I used. I think that's what I'll do because it's just gonna irritate me. Yes. So I'll set these other ones to the side and we will circle back to that one because I gotta peel it up and it's wet. So we'll do it after we get done with these others. What color should I use for the replacement background? I can always get a dark gray, or I can always use that green. That would still work with the shimmer and also match with the green that I've used in the plants. That one looks great. We didn't mess that one up at all. And the mirror. Here, the frame with its folks. Now this one's going to be a two-parter because I have to put the frame on, and then I have to put some more sticky on top of that to put the people in. So after I get the frame on, I'll do the thumb, and then we'll come back and put the people in. Let's do this though before it becomes too dry to stick this frame to. Now I have to make sure that I'm getting this on straight. And this nail kind of twists anyway. Okay. We got it on there straight. I probably should have did a second coat of the background stuff, but that's alright. That looks pretty good. Thumbsy. I'm gonna leave that alone for now. Okay. This one is ready. I do. Long time ago in a distant kingdom. And then a crown right there. What do you think? I like it. It's pretty decent. Let's add some sticky here. It really only needs to be right there. Let's get our people put in. There. Slightly to this side, but like it's a small area to work with. I think it looks good. Yeah. We got 4 good nails so far. This guy's gonna catch up. We're gonna go in with this aqua topper because this has to go on over the nail stamping before we can put on regular top coat, because regular top coat melts nail polish. That's how it creates a smooth finish, and it'll melt your stamps. Okay, make sure them little overhangs are tucked under. Now those will take a little bit of time to dry because it's water based. You think the green's gonna be better? Okay, we'll do the green. Let's get our top coats on these other ones. Now, these ones are going to turn foggy because the aqua topper, being water-based, is not completely dry yet, so it's gonna take a few hours for them to completely clear up because this Sèche Vive is going to seal in the moisture, but because it is nail polish, it is still going to fume and it'll dry, and so they will turn clear, and then I'll be getting some nice photos, which those will be turning up on the socials. But if you do this, don't be alarmed if your nails get foggy between aqua topper and regular. Like you can see one right here getting foggy already. That's just how it works. Oh, thank you. We're making some beautiful fairy tale, love story, some kind of story nails. There was a tragedy on one of them though, so that guy is the one being redone. Once that's dry, we can put on our green and get ready to replace those stamps. It's looking pretty good. It's not super foggy either, so that's good. This one just right here in the corner is a little bit, but that one looks okay, and this one looks okay. This one's white, so you can't hardly tell anyway. I think we're doing a good job. It's almost dry enough to put paint on. Oh, no, this is just nail polish. It's my specialty. I know most people like gel. I don't. Not only am I allergic to gel polish, but I don't like how thick it is. It's just a very different medium to work with. And nail polish, when it dries, it thins. And so I do 1,000,000 layers, but it's not going to end up like 1,000,000 layers. And I have a gazillion beautiful nail polishes that I can see because the bottles are clear. And that gives me a lot of joy. Look, I just stabbed this guy in the end. A little bit outside the lines. I think I got that one on thick enough that it's not gonna need a second coat. So that's good. That will speed up the process. Thank you. It does go with everything because I used it in this one on the plants, and I really like to tie them all in. I don't like when I have to just bring a random color out of nowhere. Looks like we've been working on this nail set for 2 hours and 15 minutes. And if I hadn't had to fix this guy, it probably would only been 2 hours. Step in the mud puddle. That's what happens. I step in the mud puddle. Sticky. That'll take about 30 seconds. Here are our 3 potions. Alright. If I can not mess anything up this time, that'd be cool. Alright. Laid out. That one's looking pretty good. Okay. I think we've got it on there. Let me get a light. There we go. The lighting in here is terrible, but make it glare if we turn too much on. Yeah, I think it looks good. We'll pick some good colors. I'll get photos out yonder in natural lighting, and I think that'll really help. Oh, you subscribed. Thank you so much. That was cool. That was the first time I ever saw that notification pop up. Fantastic. Wow. I don't know about y'all, but I love them. I think we have done a good job. Teamwork nails. Oh yeah. I've got to top coat that one in. I almost forgot. Good thing I didn't just go live my life. I'd have messed it up and been so mad. I think that's all the stuff that goes in the drawer. Look at my cotton ball. It's disgusting. Oh, it's definitely going on Facebook. Everything goes on Facebook. Yeah, I put like all the same general stuff, like photos of nails and reels, things like that. They'll go on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Threads, and then they'll go on YouTube Shorts. Long stuff, of course, gets stuck on YouTube because you can't put it elsewhere also. But then also Facebook is where my life is too. So there's lots of stuff over there that may not necessarily be related. And so that'll be there. And sometimes I even put my nail stuff in nail groups if it's related to the group, of course. Well, thank you. I'm so glad you enjoyed the struggles. I like to leave those in my videos too. That way I feel like it helps other people feel less self-conscious about their own struggles, because we all got them. Like, I'm over here struggling too, so you're not out here by yourself. Plus, sometimes it's funny. Sometimes. Beautiful. That's it. That one will dry, and then I'll get started on them photos. I don't know how much of daylight we have at this time of day, but I think there's a little bit. So be on the lookout. You'll be seeing them, and they'll be way up close, so you'll be able to see them much better. But thanks for coming. I enjoyed hanging out in the chat. Definitely, if you're not subscribed, do so you can catch these. I think it notifies you if you are, because I rarely plan them ahead of time. And I do try to make highlight reels, so if you do miss it, hopefully there will be one of those coming along the next few days that you can catch if you want to. But thanks again, and I'll see you later.